It's the boy, Bubba Lutz, coming through. Hella clutch, flawless, can't be touched. It's your boy, Bubba Lutz. Yeah, I need that hot take. I need the truth and everything that is not fake. So tell me.
Welcome back, Bubba Bunch, to another edition of the Bubba Lutz Sports Podcast. It is episode 249, and it is winners and losers of Week 8 in the NFL. Joined once again by Kevin, the co-host of the Bubba Lutz Sports Podcast at this point.
Yes. Basically, yeah.
No winners and losers in Week 7. So this is our first game post-bye week.
I would say this is a good week of football, right? Better than last week.
Better than last week for sure. Anything's better than last week. But we also have a lot of things to also talk about outside of the games. You know, trade deadline and some off the field stuff, which we'll address later. But
we'll get into that later. Maybe.
We won't go in depth with it because it is very, very early in the process of that and what occurred. So know of like making them losers because it's no laughing matter. But we try to keep it light here. So to keep it light, we're looking good post bye. You know, we've been working on some things. We've been watching the film.
Yeah.
And I think we're ready for the second half of the season and making that playoff push.
You know, look, we here on this podcast pride ourselves in, you know, not being biased, right? You know, we want to be as objective as possible. You know, us being Cowboys fans, we can't really, you know, make our boys winners every week because that's what we could do if we wanted to right now.
Hey, 6 games in a row. I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm just saying. But look, come on. I think before we start the list, really quick, I think we got to give not just one, not just 2, but 3 whole bottles to the real Red Rifle, Cooper Rush. Come on, man. Come on. He deserves 3 bottles of the bubbly. Come on.
Cooper Rush alone?
By himself. This dude is getting hammered.
Oh, I don't know about that. That arm looked pretty weak at points.
Did he get the win?
He got the win.
Did he get the win?
It was Cooper to Cooper.
Did he get the win or not?
He got the win. He
deserves it.
But I feel like we should spread those bottles around. You know, one goes to Cooper. Him and Cooper or Amari Cooper can share a bottle. And then
how about him and the defense can share one as well?
Well, I feel like the defense deserves their own. Maybe don't give it any alcohol to DeMonte KZ. Sorry, not sorry. Micah Parsons can get a lot of that bubbly, though. So can Randy Gregory, unless he gets a little unnecessary roughness going when he gets the bubbly inside of him. I'm just throwing shots here, but I feel like it's granted. And it's all in good fun because they did get the win. I was surprised that you didn't actually make them a winner. I don't have them as a winner because it is a win against the Vikings. Like, there's not much to it in the long term, but it's nice. It made me smile. Yeah,
it was. I honestly, I almost completely wrote off the Cowboys that game. I really didn't think we were gonna win without Dak, just because the Vikings have their flashes, and you know I thought it was gonna happen. But like I said, the real Red Rifle stepped in, and oh man. You can't sit here and tell me that pass, that coop-to-coop pass was just nothing but perfection.
Oh,
perfect.
You know what,
Perfect.
though? I had that same feeling with Ezekiel Elliott on that 3rd and 15. That for me was the play of the game, and I said, Mom, that's the fucking play, Mom.
Yep. We love it.
Yeah. Trick or treat, motherfuckers.
So wanting to get we had a little bit of fun, right? We had to let that out as Cowboy fans, but let's get into the real list. The real list.
45 minutes. We promise.
5
minutes in, by the way.
We have a small punishment if we don't.
Yeah, sir, I really don't want to do the punishment. So,
sir, you're always so nice and you always let me go first. But how about you go first this time?
Okay, all right. You know what? I never stopped believing in this team. Never. Not for a second.
Okay.
But they got a damn good win this weekend, and I'm proud of them. They can make something out of this, okay? I thought they should have made a trade for a receiver. I feel like the move for OBJ because his time in Cleveland was I said it from the beginning, it's not going to work. And no one believed me. Everyone thought I was crazy. It's not working.
I don't think his time ever started in Cleveland, to be fair.
He had a good stretch of games, not seasons, and that's what matters. I felt like him moving northeast to this team makes all the sense in the world every single season. And here we are post-trade deadline, and it's not happening. But at least they have something to work with. And that was from the very beginning what I thought it would be, and that's their defense. The New England Patriots get a huge win against the Los Angeles Chargers on the road in a tight battle, and it was because of their defense forcing turnovers.
So it looks like we're combining it.
Yes, okay, great. So, look, these are my points of view when it comes to making them winners. They've won 3 out of their last 4, but I don't feel like the wins are what matter the most here for me going forward. It's the losses. It's the losses in a tight game against Dallas in overtime. They could have won that football game, and they lose the Bucks against their former dynasty quarterback. And it's in prime time. Mac Jones' first time in prime time, Sunday Night Football. They almost win that game too. And I feel like there's a lot of good things to come out of those games rather than just looking at it and say it's an L on the column. I'm thinking like they're competitive and they can hold up against some of the best in the NFL. You also got to think that Matthew Judon is top 3 in pass rushing this year. This man is an absolute beast, leading that way, being the front runner as far as the best signee out of all those free agents this past offseason. Like Damian Harris has been great. Another great game for him. 23 carries, 80 yards, 1 touchdown. Defense forces 2 interceptions against Justin Herbert, the guy that we love a lot on this podcast. Yeah. They are still undefeated on the road, which is really amazing to think out of a 3-4 football team. But like undefeated on the road, they're not winning those games in Foxborough, which is weird. But look at their schedule going forward. In the next month, they play the Panthers, they play the Browns, they play the Falcons, and they have the Titans to end the month, who no longer have Derrick Henry.
That's an easy 3 wins right there, at the least.
Easy 3 wins, the least. But it could definitely be 4 if you force Ryan Tannehill to make some bad decisions. Which, if you're making Justin Herbert make bad decisions, if you're making Dak Prescott have to think about everything that he's doing, then you can withstand some of the top elite quarterbacks in the NFL. So New England, it was looking rough, but Miami's terrible. New York has Mike White. I don't know what that's gonna mean over the next
3 weeks until Zach Wilson comes back.
Thank you, I guess. Or for the rest of the season. But you definitely have that second spot in the AFC East. Yeah. And the way that the AFC is looking, it's really complicated right now.
Looking odd. Yeah.
So New England may not be out of this. So I thought the Cowboys game was a must win, but now looking at it, this was a win that no one expected, and you got an easier schedule before you have to play the Bills twice. Yeah. But if you can get that momentum, get that confidence over the next month, those Bills games are going to be a lot tougher than people think. So New England, I don't know what you want to add.
Well, I think if anything, you pretty much summarized everything that could be said about a win like that, even the future. But there's 2 things that I do want to say. First one, really quick. I am honestly so impressed with how good Mac Jones is developing, right? Like, we came into this year thinking that Justin Fields was going to be that guy. But then we realized that Matt Nagy is a horrible head coach. It shouldn't be there anymore, right? Whatever.
Justin Fields is that guy. He just went to the wrong place.
Better said.
We know for a fact that if he went to San Francisco, it would be a completely different ballgame.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Zach Wilson, unfortunately, is in a horrendous organization. We can't blame him there. Trevor Lawrence has no help, so, we can't really do much with that, right? But going into the season, we all thought that Mac Jones might have been mid-tier out of all the quarterbacks, right? But if anything, he's probably by far the best one so far. He's played absolutely, I don't know. I look, he's not lighting up the stat sheet, right?
No.
But he's doing what has to be done. He's playing smart football. He's not turning the ball over a lot. He's playing good. Bill Belichick is really developing him into a great game manager quarterback. And at the end of the day, like I've always said a lot in this podcast, being a game manager quarterback, being a great game manager is not it's not an insult. It's not an offense. There's a lot of teams in this league that wish they had a game manager quarterback, right?
Yeah, so, they can't even get that right.
Exactly. So kudos to Mac Jones. Second thing, I am going to sit here and publicly say that I stand corrected. Earlier this season, I said that I just did not see how any of these moves would really help the Patriots organization at all. All these free agent signings. And I'm honestly going to sit here and say, yeah, I was wrong. I was wrong.
Bro, even, like, I mean, the Cowboys game was not a good indication of it, but even Jalen Mills is providing, like...
Yeah, I know.
Good film. Like, he's even putting up a good stint with the Patriots so far.
I have to sit here. I'm a man. I'm a man of my. I'm an honorable man, I guess. I'll say it like that. I was very wrong. Matthew Judon is absolutely he is insane.
Christ.
He's insane. So good. Like you said, J.C. Jackson still making picks. Still, he's just a very good corner. Like you said, Jalen Mills is having a pretty good stint every other game. What I will say though is I'm still not sold on Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne. I still think they have a lot to prove personally, but Hunter Henry is having a great season.
Getting those touchdowns up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
finding that connection.
So yeah, I think to wrap this part, yeah, I'll eat crow. I'll eat crow on these Patriots.
While you eat crow, they will be drinking the bubbly, sir.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Yeah, they deserve it.
Hey, let Mac Jones just rip. Just let him rip. I genuinely feel if you let him rip the ball down the field, and he did a little bit of that in this game, I think he'll be just fine. Perfect fit for him. Out of all the quarterbacks, he was the perfect fit for New England. He went to the right spot, and that's all that matters. That, like, if he was anywhere else, it doesn't matter if it was the rookie teams, or the teams that have a rookie quarterback, or anybody else in the league. I don't think he finds the success. I think this was the right place for him.
Yeah, for sure.
So, with both of us having the Patriots as our first winner, I'll go on to my second winner.
Go for it.
This may also be on your list in some way. This trade was the best trade of the weekend.
Yeah, okay, I guess we're doing it.
Right, okay. I think this one's pretty self-explanatory, but I do think it's for a different reason.
Okay.
Now, we can say all that we want about how well this acquisition is for the Rams defense that has been struggling so far this season. You know, losing Brandon Staley, that's a huge loss, and we've seen it. And Raheem Morris is doing his best, but this is not the same defensive scheme. It still has a lot of great players on it, and you add another one in Von Miller.
Yeah.
I think this is more of a win for Von Miller in many, many different aspects. Look, I'm gonna take you back. Let's take it back a little bit. All right.
Okay.
March 12th, 2014.
Okay.
What were you doing in 2014, sir?
I was 16 years old. March happens to be in the middle of the school year, so I was probably in class, unfortunately. Sitting down, and I'm assuming that Von Miller got drafted since it's March.
No.
Okay.
So I was expecting a more happier remembrance of that time. A little depressing, if you have to ask me.
Sorry, man. You know I don't like school.
Fair. March 12th, 2014, our beloved Dallas Cowboy DeMarcus Ware signs with the Denver Broncos.
Oh my.
He leaves
He
leaves the organization that literally was made for him. And he made the most out of it. One of the best players in Cowboys history. Without a doubt, my favorite player of all time. All time.
Yeah.
He goes and leaves Dallas for Denver in a pursuit to a championship.
Okay.
Who did he happen to join? Oh, Von
Miller.
Miller.
I wonder who we're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's just a little bit of coincidence. And think about this move in general. DeMarcus Ware, who was in the tail end of his career, who still had a lot of production left, but the veteranship, the experience, the leadership that he can bring to a locker room is undeniable, and it's an awesome thing to have. Any team would be grateful to have that.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't have the same physical capabilities as he once was. You know, he had the injuries. He's gone through it, you know?
Yeah.
And he joins Von Miller, who's in the peak of his career. That's just annihilating offenses and is taking over the league as one of the best, if not the best, defensive player in all of football at that very moment.
Yeah.
Von Miller right now is in the tail end of his career. Maybe not the same physical capabilities and maybe not the same impact, but he brings that veteranship, the experience, and any team would be lucky to have him. I'm talking to you, Dallas, okay? Right? Like anybody would be lucky to have Von Miller because it's fucking Von Miller. It's such an awesome guy to have.
Yeah.
Now he goes somewhere else in a pursuit to a championship. And he joins a guy that's... You can make the case for two guys on this team that are in the peak of their career, that are considered one of the best defensive players in all of football. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. And that time that DeMarcus Ware went to Denver and played with Von Miller, what happened a year later?
They won the Super Bowl.
They won the fucking Super Bowl.
They won the damn Super Bowl.
And it was because of their defense.
Yeah.
With all the talk about Peyton Manning being one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time and being like riding off in the sunset, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think that's a little bit of the same over in LA right now with Matthew Stafford, considered one of the best quarterbacks of our generation, and looking for that championship to finish off his career right off into the sunset. And one more thing, you can even say that Von Miller is the Matthew Stafford of the Denver Broncos. This man is carrying the organization. He's the only reason why they're relevant. This defense was the only reason they were actually somewhat good, and everything else was trash around it. It's time for him to leave it. He's given everything he's got to the organization, to the city.
Yeah.
Now let's go get a championship. Matthew Stafford, same exact way. Von Miller and this Rams organization are in win now mode. They do not care about the draft. They don't care about their picks at all. Fuck everybody that's coming out of college. They're trying to win now, and they don't care if it blows up in 2 or 3 years, which it will. They're trying to win now, and they're doing everything possible with Von Miller. Von Miller, bubbly.
Here's the thing, though, and like I mean, I don't think I could have explained it any better than you have, right? But I guess I'll go to the first part, because you wanted to talk about how it's so good for Von Miller, right? I'll transfer over to the other side. Is there any possible way that these Rams don't win the Super Bowl? Like, seriously. Because think about it, right? Think about it, right? You have an offense that is easily top 5 in the league, right? Easily. The Rams offense is stunning right now. Literally, they just... I don't think there's anything in that Rams offense that doesn't work, right? Matthew Stafford, balling right now, right? Darrell Henderson, balling in place of Cam Akers, right? Mm-hmm. This wasn't supposed to happen.
Right.
And yet he's still balling, right? Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Van Jefferson, arguably one of the top trios in the league, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then you go to the opposite side. You already had a great defense, right? Jalen Ramsey, arguably the best corner in the league. Aaron Donald, best defensive player in the league. Leonard Floyd, up and coming, right? I mean, he's having a great season. Absolutely great season, right? And now you add Von Miller to the opposite side, right? I think if this team doesn't win the Super Bowl this year, catastrophic failure. There's no reason. There's no reason. No reason.
Like they are boom or bust at this point. They are not expecting to just make the playoffs. They're not trying to get out of the NFC West.
They want it. They want the whole thing.
They're trying to win the fucking thing.
They want the whole thing. Because look, here's the thing, right? Really quick, just so we can like move on to the next one. But think about it, right? Put them up against the other teams. Arizona doesn't have a good offensive line.
Well, if they play like they did on Thursday, then the Rams are just going to run all over them.
Arizona doesn't have a good offensive line. And if anything, that team is the more important team in general when it comes to the Rams' road to the Super Bowl, right?
I mean, you got to play them twice.
Exactly. Arizona doesn't have the best offensive line. They should be easily dominating Kyler Murray, right? Leonard Floyd in the middle as middle linebacker. You got Jalen Ramsey covering D-Hop. So that leaves you with, a couple of other weapons that the Cardinals have, but they have some. They still have a good cover, a good secondary, right? Then you look at the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, we all know that bad man, right? But we're going to the similar thing. Their offensive line has not been as good as it should have been, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to move on to the Bucks, right? Bucks, different story, right?
I mean,
Bucks,
you already beat them.
yeah, you already beat them, right? You already beat them once, and yet their offensive line is still better than both two. But you already beat them once. You already know the recipe, and now you're adding another piece of the mix that's just going to make it even easier again, per se. Who's the only other team after that? The Cowboys. Look, our offensive line is pretty good, but it's not we can cover Aaron Donald and Von Miller good. Let's be real.
There might come a point to where Connor Williams has to cover Aaron Donald and Von Miller.
Yeah, and let's be fair that I think we're going to have to get rid of Dalton Schultz and Blake Jarwin for that one game, switch Lyle Collins' position to tight end just for that one game.
Just for an extra extra lineman.
Jesus Christ, how's that going to work? To summarize my point so we can move on in general. This move is probably, I don't want to be rash because there was a lot of good off-season moves, right? But I think if anything, this move is probably by far the best move made this season by any team.
I mean, I feel like that's early to say because we haven't even seen him play in a Rams uniform. If we're judging, that's actually a good talking point, which I think we should say for like the mid-season like awards. But best
fine.
signing or best acquisition?
You make a fair point. Let me rephrase my statement then. On paper, this is the best acquisition, the best signing.
Oh, it doesn't make sense. It's like Madden. Like there's no salary cap.
It doesn't make sense.
There's no salary cap when it comes to the Rams.
It's like the NBA four seasons ago when everybody was a super team. Like those two teams that were just dominating.
Yeah. Well, that's what the NFL is.
Yeah.
That's what it is now.
So,
the Bucks are doing it. The Rams are doing it.
Yeah.
So.
Also, by the way, remember when the Rams' next draft pick is like barely in 4th grade right now? Just saying.
They have 3 picks next year in the entire draft.
Do they? Because of
yes.
Is it the compensation picks or whatever?
One of them's a comp pick, and then I think after that, then it's the 6th round. Like there's a comp pick in like the 3rd or 5th or something like that.
Yeah.
But everything else is traded.
Yeah. Win now. I don't know. This season had a lot of pretty decent, okay moves, but Von Miller to the Rams, that's a top of the list in my opinion.
Doesn't make sense, but that's why it's the genius of Sean McVay.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. It doesn't need to make sense, right?
No, apparently not. Win. As long as they win, doesn't matter, right?
All right.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
3rd winner, last winner for me, the winner of the week.
Yes.
I am taking this on a different, I guess, level when it comes to why we pick winners. It's usually a fun, exciting thing. This one's a little more
serious per se.
Serious, but it's a little a personal touch of mine because of what I've been going through.
Okay.
My last winner is Calvin Ridley.
Oh,
and
okay.
If you haven't heard, if you don't know the news, he is taking time off from football, stepping away from football. He's told the Atlanta Falcons that he wants to focus on his mental health. And he's been dealing with it for the last few months, was the reason why he wasn't at the London game a few weeks ago, battling injury as well, but mostly because of the personal stuff that he's been dealing with. It's no, secret. I've said it on here before, what I've been going through, and last year what I went through during the pandemic, but especially this past week. I told you this before the podcast of me battling, me dealing with my anxiety and how it's just at an all-time high right now, and I can't explain it. I keep telling myself that I'm fine, but my body won't let me say otherwise. It'll say otherwise, and I'm just a regular guy that's going to a 9-to-5 job Monday through Friday, being with his family on the weekend, having a beautiful girlfriend and like trying to enjoy life and provide a really great podcast for everybody to listen to and watch. And I feel like I'm doing those things, and I'm very grateful. I'm very appreciative of everything that I have. And yet my mind is telling me that nothing's okay, that everything is just going wrong. Why is that any different because he makes $1 million and he plays in the NFL? Why should that be any different?
Yeah.
No one's perfect, and that includes even the greatest athletes in all of football, including Calvin Ridley, who's one of the best receivers in all of football. That man is a menace to every defense in the league right now. And I've loved him ever since he came out of Alabama, you know? And I felt like the Cowboys should have made a move for Calvin Ridley. He could have easily been a Cowboy at this point of his career. If they never got Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley was the answer. But for him to make that decision, for him, with everybody now being more open about their mental health, but him doing it in a different way and a very scary way. I mean, you got to think about it. This is midway through the season. The Atlanta Falcons, they're not terrible offensively, but that's because of Calvin Ridley. So without him, they don't really have much other than Kyle Pitts, really. But for him to make that decision, and he's going to deal with the backlash of everybody saying, you got to toughen up, it's football. You know, you got to be a man about it. But to not even consider that, you know, he is taking his time to get himself mentally right. And he just hopes that everybody on the team knows that this is for him and this is for the betterment of the team going forward. What I had to go through, and knowing that even the best of athletes that get paid millions of dollars, some of the best like wide receivers in all of football, has those issues too. It's okay to be not okay. You know, it's fine to think that everything's about to just fall apart. And all you got to think to yourself is that you just got to step back and remember and appreciate everything that you have, because it's going to be okay at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So Calvin Ridley, plenty of bubbly goes your way.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Yeah. I mean, good for him, man. I mean, you know, there's a lot of people, especially football players, that they just have it in their mind that, oh, they got to deal with it because, you know, they have such a big responsibility. But, you know, at the end of the day, nobody's going to be able to help you like you can. Right. So, yeah, good for him. I hope everything works out for him. If he has to take, you know, just a couple weeks off to get his mind straight, or if he has to take the whole season off, I mean, whatever it takes. But at the end of the day, you know, his health is more beneficial than a game. So,
and I'm
100%.
happy that that's the norm, that people say take as much time as you need, not just, all right, hurry up, get better, and come back. We got to win some football games. No, it's get yourself right, because that's all that matters.
Yeah, for sure. So Calvin Ridley, big bubbly. For me, my biggest winner of the week, I think it comes as no surprise, but I am so mind blown.
Say it.
That a guy named Mike White.
Yes, former Cowboy.
Mike White beat, at the time, the number 1 seed in the AFC, Cincinnati Bengals.
Or so-called number 1 seed.
So-called now. 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. I'm not counting that second one. That was not his fault. That was not his fault. Absolute stunner, absolute menace, stone cold on that field.
And he can catch too.
He can catch too. Yeah. Look, man, you know, this is the first game all season, right? Because they already won once, right? This is their second win. But not even in that game against the Titans, right? Did the Jets look so in control with their quarterback backing them up, right? He looked so good. He looked so calm. He was making the right decisions. He really only had 1 mistake, in my opinion. Like I said, that second one doesn't count. If you can't catch the ball, it shouldn't count.
That's fine if you throw for 400 yards.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And yet he leads them down the field and throws the game-winning touchdown? Oh my god. Oh my god. The Jets beat the Bengals. The Jets.
No, you're going too far. The Jets won.
The Jets won.
The Jets won a football game.
The Jets won. The same Jets that we've criticized maybe like 50 times in the last 8 weeks of this season. Unbelievable. Mike White. I hope, you know what? I hope if you have a girlfriend, I hope you and her get hammered and just have a great night. Go out on the town. Oh my God. You deserve the world right now. Because you know what? The world was never given to the Jets, apparently. That bum-ass organization.
Wow.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mike White, 5th round draft pick out of Western Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas Cowboys. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. There's a little bit of a little coincidence there, don't you think?
Just saying. You know, because apparently all our quarterbacks are really good, right? Really good. So.
Yeah. I bet Will Greer's fucking awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
You know what? He's gonna come in, throw for 405 against Denver. Easy.
Cam who? Cam Newton. More like Cam Olton.
More like Cam Hooten.
Who? Losers. All right, Kevin. I'm just gonna be honest. We're 31 minutes in. There ain't no fucking way we're getting to 45.
Okay, fair enough. We'll take a shot.
I guess I'm a loser this week. All right, first loser of the week for me. Feel bad for this guy. There's so many things that could have gone his way to make his time in Miami better.
Oh.
And the trade deadline.
I know what you're talking about.
Trade deadline was not good to Xavier Howard.
Trade deadline was exactly 6 hours ago, and he is still a Miami Dolphin, unfortunately.
He wants to go. He wants to leave, and that's fine. Maybe he knew before anybody else knew that Miami was not going to be a contender this year.
So you're choosing Xavier Howard, but
You're
I'm gonna
choosing Miami.
roll in. I'm gonna roll in with you because I have a lot to say about the Dolphins.
That's fine. I'm not going to talk about the
Yeah.
Dolphins whatsoever, really.
Yeah.
Well, other than one thing, but I think this more goes to the experience that Xavier Howard's going to have in Miami. At the beginning of the off season or the beginning of the season, he asked for a trade, and they said no, but we'll give you more money. And he's like,
Yeah.
all right,
Okay, I guess.
but I'd really like to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And in a period to where it would be so easy for Miami to be like, okay, we can trade you, but we're going to send you to the other conference. And he would have been like, that's fine. I want to go to the NFC because everybody's going to win in the NFC.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck is happening in the AFC, but if I'm going to a contender, it's going to be in the NFC.
Yeah.
And Green Bay might be looking at me. Tampa Bay needs some corner help.
Absolutely right.
Los
now, yeah.
Angeles, why not? They're just throwing picks everywhere.
Yeah.
And even Dallas, I don't know if they want to go with Anthony Brown, but I'm pretty sure I'm better than Anthony Brown. And I would agree with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with the way that these picks are just thrown, and like they're not even like considered to be a big thing, you know, like Melvin Gordon's getting traded for a 6th round pick. Xavier Howard's not going to get traded for a 1st round pick.
Yeah.
So these teams are looking at their 2nd, 3rd, maybe 4th, and saying, we'll give you a player too, but we'll give you a 4th rounder. Is that okay? And Miami have been like,
Yeah.
all right, like that's fine.
Why not?
Because we need draft picks so we can get not Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson. So if we're thinking about maybe Miami just told Xavier, like, look, just here's how, like, we won't trade you, but what if we go for Deshaun? Like, would it make it better? Because I know
Yeah.
our season's done. Like, we are not winning a lot of football games this year, and our offensive line is absolutely awful. But how about we bring in a guy that has a terrible offensive line his entire career and made the most out of it in Deshaun Watson? Xavier's like, all right, you know what? If you make that push for Deshaun Watson, maybe I'll consider staying. And maybe I'll have a little bit more fun here, and I'll get those interceptions for you. And the rumor was a few weeks ago, it's a done deal. Deshaun to Miami, it makes all the sense in the world. They're in talks. It's all good to go. You know, all the picks are there. And then it doesn't happen. And here we are with Deshaun Watson still in Houston, and he's not leaving.
Yeah.
Well, then Xavier is just there saying, so what about me? Well, you just left me out to dry. I didn't get traded, nor did you make a trade. So what do you want me to do? Like, you gave me more money, but I still deserve more money.
Yeah.
And I deserve to be on a contender. I had every opportunity to go to a contender this year. There's so many opportunities, and you didn't give me that opportunity. So Miami, shame on you. Xavier Howard is an awesome corner, and he deserves better.
Yeah, so like I said, Miami's one of mine as well. And I'm going to leave it with this. Miami is one of the most disappointing teams in the NFL this season. Last year they were looking like they finally had things going their way, right? It looked like they finally got, things working. Looking like they finally had a good, coaching staff, a good head coach. Everything was going forward, right? And now you're seeing reports that these players don't even trust Brian Flores anymore. So you're telling me they went from the beginning of his career in Miami, where they were absolute trash, by far the worst team in the NFL that season, and then he brought them back to 6-10. Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So building some trust. Okay, this guy might be it. Then you go next season. You get, snubbed is not the correct word, but you should have gone to the playoffs. Just so happened that the AFC was way more competitive last year than it is now.
They are a playoff team. If they would have played in the NFC last year, they would have.
Yeah,
they would have.
They would have gone in, right? So you're basically a playoff team that didn't get in, but you're a playoff team. Their defense was solid. Tua was looking like he was kind of getting things together. It was looking bright. And then you go from 10-6 to right now 1-7. You are dead last in the AFC and in the AFC East. And now you're having reports that these players aren't even trusting their coach. Yikes. You literally went from, you're about to get there, right? You're about to get to kind of the top of the mountain. Oh, and you're in a dumpster fire now. Mm-hmm. And then not even to mention that, like you said, they can't even get a damn deal done. The Deshaun Watson deal was not their fault. Apparently, Deshaun Watson lied about finally getting the suits settled, right? That's not completely their fault. You can't really blame them on that, right?
No,
but like you said,
I think they were fine even without the suits being settled. They were willing to take that risk.
But that was the one condition, though. That was the one condition. That was the biggest reason why they were going to do it. It was because Deshaun Watson and his attorney said, we're getting them done. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. And then apparently at the 11th hour, they were like, oh, well, we kind of ran into some trouble, so sorry.
See, I heard that there was a report that said that they got clearance to interview Deshaun Watson or talk with Deshaun Watson last night.
Oh, so we're hearing different things then.
Yes, I heard that earlier today, that they gave clearance to talk to Deshaun Watson. However, I mean, that's no time at all. So really the league was like, oh, yeah, you're fine. Like, you can make that trade. If you can do it in like 10 hours, that'd be even awesome. And then there's no way you make a deal with all that money and all the picks and all that in that amount of time.
Yeah.
So it just collapsed.
So besides the conflicting things that we're hearing, in general, biggest reason why they might lose this week. Oh my God, they played so bad. They played so bad against the Bills. Look,
Which time?
Yeah.
Which week?
Yeah. That game at first was very surprising, right? The Bills weren't scoring.
The first game?
A little bit, right? No, the second game, this week.
Oh, you can say the same thing about the first one. That first half was absolutely boring.
First abysmal, right? But then it's like the Bills just turned it on, right? Yeah. And then completely left them in the dust.
Sounds about right.
It's one thing to get dominated the whole entire game. Texans, Lions. It's one thing to get dominated the whole entire game, right? But it's another thing to be like, oh wow, we're actually contending a little bit, and then you get blown out in the second half.
I hate getting blown out.
Yeah. That's just absolutely demoralizing. man, I feel bad for Xavier Howard. I feel bad for Byron Jones, our boy. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for Jalen Waddle. I feel bad for Devontae Parker. I feel bad for everybody on that team because, damn, what a turnaround, man. And for the worse.
Has Will
the
Fuller
worse.
done anything?
No, he was suspended. He came back, one game, caught like 3 passes, and he got re-injured.
Oh, he's injured again?
I think so, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
horrible.
Remember when, at the beginning of the season, Jalen Waddle, Will Fuller, Preston Williams, and Devontae Parker were probably going to be an amazing core of receivers? Yeah, no.
That's so sad.
Remember when Myles Gaskin was like, oh, this guy's pretty good.
Sleeper.
Pretty good. Sleeper. No. Remember when Kyle Van Noy came back? Oh, I'm sorry, not Kyle Van Noy. Kyle Van Noy left.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a hole in that defense, right? Okay, we'll see. No. Just no.
Oh.
Yikes.
Well. All right. Well, second loser for me. Pretty simple. AJ Green. What the fuck was that?
What was that, dude? You know, after that play, right? I went on Twitter because the NFL posts that stuff like in real time, right? Their social media team on dot, right? I watched that clip for about a good 5 minutes, over and over and over and over again. There's just no good explanation. What was he doing? Because look, right? Every receiver is a diva, right? Oh, pass interference. He barely touched him and he did that. Like, AJ Green touched him. Rasul Douglas.
Well, no, here's the thing is that my assumption and most of everybody's assumption was that he's trying to block. Like, it's a run play.
I was going to get to that. So I saw it at first as I was all like, okay, if they're gonna fight for it, like that's usually what happens on a fade route, right? They're gonna fight for the ball, they're gonna little pushing, shoving, right? But AJ Green was the first one to touch him, and he didn't turn around. Okay, whatever, right? Second thing, like how you said, it looked like he was blocking. But here's the thing, though, either explanation, either he was trying to be a diva and get a pass interference play, or it looked like he was blocking.
No, it's clear to me that it's the later or the latter.
That doesn't make any sense. How do you are an NFL veteran with, what is it now, like 8 years of experience?
Well, are we counting is that the amount of time you spent on the sideline or actually on the field?
Jesus Christ. Wow, you'd have to go that far. But yes, in general, he's an 8 to 10 year veteran in this league. You're telling me that this man forgot the play call? Wow.
It's not even a hard thing to do. Like,
it's a fade route.
It's a fade route. And it's AJ Green. Why wouldn't they go to you?
Fade route.
Like, D-Hop was out of this game from the very beginning. Like, you have to step up. You're the main guy now.
How do you forget a fade route? How?
Not only that, how about like a little dig like in the knife? That
right? Yeah.
Douglas, right?
Rasul Douglas, yes.
Douglas was on the Arizona Cardinals practice squad before heading to Green Bay, and he wasn't even supposed to play in this game. But with the amount of injuries that Green Bay's had in that secondary, he becomes one of the secondary guys, and he picks off his former team, who didn't give him a single chance to play in the NFL, and wins it for them on Thursday night against the supposed best team in the NFC and really the best team in football. How about a big fucking double birds to Cliff Kingsbury?
Dude, AJ Green literally lost them their perfect record and lost them the number 1 seed in the NFC with that game. Unbelievable.
Right. At least that block looked good.
It was good form.
Good form.
My second loser. Eesh. Cleveland was riding pretty high last season, huh?
Well, I I mean, I made them losers 2 weeks ago, so.
Cleveland was riding pretty high last season. And now, look.
Well, you say that Miami has been one of the most disappointing teams in all football. And I said, are they the most disappointing team? And then I thought about it. I was like, it's Cleveland.
Cleveland. Yeah. Cleveland. Yeah. I guess I set myself up, right? Because I said Miami's one of the most. But I think we can make the argument that Cleveland is by far the most disappointing team in the NFL.
Is it their fault?
Look.
Like, the injury bug is terrible.
The injury bug is rough. It is very rough. I will give them that. You literally cannot do anything about injury bugs, right? Obviously. But here's the thing, though, right? Kevin Stefanski came out today in an interview and said, I got to do more to get the ball in OBJ's hands.
Oh, I don't know how to feel about that.
Oh, really? So
hey,
now,
no shit, Sherlock.
Oh, so now you want to make the effort to give the ball to OBJ, right? Look. We all know OBJ is not the same thing that he was in New York, right? We all know that. Right?
That's putting it lightly in my eyes.
I'm putting it lightly, right? But you still have to at least think that if he were at least 20% part of this, because he's not even 5%. He had 1 reception for 6 yards this last game.
That sounds like OBJ.
Even if he was at least 20% of this offense, he would do at least something. At least. If they need, if it's 3rd and 7 and they need at least 8 yards, maybe he'll do it. Maybe he'll do it. But you'll never find out if you don't give him the chance.
Or maybe he just sucks. Like I've said before.
Look, either way, it doesn't matter. Now you're saying you want to give him a chance? Okay, fine. Second thing. You're telling me that you think it's a great idea to put your franchise quarterback that literally, I don't know if you saw him play yesterday. This dude was literally throwing like this. He was literally throwing like this. Oh my God. Dude, what are you doing? Sit him. You're telling me that a season that is on the verge of being lost is more important than the next 5 years of your franchise?
Well,
come on.
Now, this is where we get a little bit of the tea here. What if they just don't go with Baker? Maybe they just let him go after this year.
Be dumb to.
Would they?
Baker,
look.
Hold on. Baker has obviously shown that he can provide for this team. And you cannot deny that.
No, I agree with you. But I don't think Cleveland believes that.
They're idiots then.
What if this is just a ploy? Maybe they just say, we don't care about Baker's injury because we don't care about Baker after 2021.
Then
we're not going to sign him.
There should be a lawsuit. There should be a lawsuit. Baker Mayfield should sue the Cleveland Browns organization for negligence, for clear obstruction of his health, for absolute robbery of his time. Look. What are you doing?
They're like, Baker, go make all those progressive commercials all you want. Like, make them all. Make them all. We don't need you at the facility. No.
We're not going to pay you, apparently.
We're not going to pay you
in this
after
scenario
this
that you're saying. Look, even if, Baker Mayfield, right? OBJ, right? Hey, you know there's also another guy on the other side of the field named Jarvis Landry? Just saying.
Is he back?
Just saying. He is back, yes. This is his first game back, but even before that. Just saying, right?
Well, he was on IR, right?
Yeah, but even before those 3 weeks, he was on the field, and they weren't throwing to him.
There's a difference. There's a difference between, like, being on the field and, like, A.J. Green being on the field.
Okay, but look, my point to wrap this up, you're telling me the Cleveland Browns organization that has a monster defense, right, that is looking still pretty decent, not like last year.
Yeah, sure, the
not
stats
like 2 years
show
ago.
it.
Still pretty decent, right? You're telling me that organization with that monster defense and that many names on the offensive side of the ball, we can't blame Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. They're injured. We understand that. But in general, You're telling me that their offense is looking that anemic on paper with all those names? Stop.
Well,
Stop it.
here's my
Stop
thing
it.
on it. Just real quick.
Okay.
Look, listen.
Okay.
No, like I agree with you that at some point you got to take accountability and say like we're still a good football team. There's still a great
You
offensive
don't want
line
them,
here.
trade them. If you don't want them, trade them.
Right. They should have traded OBJ a long time ago, right?
Today should have been the day. Today.
Oh yeah. With all the stuff that came out like about his dad saying like free my son like he's in jail or something, it's ridiculous. It's OBJ.
Imagine OBJ at a Green Bay. Imagine.
Well, Green Bay, you got to think that Green Bay would actually want to get a receiver for Aaron Rodgers, but they settled for Randall Cobb. So, whatever. That's not a good example.
Okay, fine. OBJ in New England.
That makes sense to me, but it never happens.
Okay, there
right?
you go. Anyway, keep going.
Here's the
keep
thing:
going. Yeah.
is that this whole offense, this whole system, is built on two guys, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. They run the ball. That is your system. That is your identity. And the only way that Baker Mayfield succeeds or any quarterback succeeds, unless you are an Aaron Rodgers type quarterback, is that you play off of that running game. And play action. Fundamentally, let me just put an equation here. If Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt plus Baker Mayfield equals good offense, and you have no Kareem Hunt and no Nick Chubb, plus a 20% healthy Baker Mayfield with one good arm, what does that equal? It doesn't equal a good offense. What's the algebra term here? What's the mathematical term here?
Okay.
I don't know. I almost failed geometry.
Oh God.
If the I blanked, bro.
Pythagorean theorem.
It's a right angle. Right?
Oh my God! You took that long for a right angle, bro?
No, I'm just kidding. If your equation is screwed from the beginning, how do you expect to get the right result? Like your x and y, you don't have an x and you barely have a y. So how is that going to equal what you want it to equal? That's my thing on it.
But the thing though is that they have potential Y's on the opposite side of the field.
But they're not built for that. That's not where their identity lies.
Okay, then why is it working for the Cowboys?
Because
you got Pollard, you got Zeke, and you got CeeDee and Coop on the other side.
Because Mr. Kellen Moore does not depend on Ezekiel. He does not depend on Tony Pollard. He is a genius when it comes to play calling and says, based on what I have, I'm going to utilize that. I'm not going to run the same exact offense that I do with Dak Prescott with Cooper Rush. Okay. Kevin Stefanski is running the same offense without Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb and a bum Baker Mayfield. He's trying the same thing. It's not going to work.
To wrap this up. But that's what I'm saying, though, is that they do have it. They just don't do it when it's all healthy. Why?
See, you don't know the Cleveland Browns like I do, okay?
Oh,
you don't know
okay,
them
my
like
bad.
I do. I'm an
My
insider
bad.
source here.
Oh, you're a beat reporter for the Cleveland Browns?
You can say that. You can say it. Unofficially, officially.
Okay, well, then in that case, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. These Browns are just horrifically bad because, they're just bad. So, moving on.
Thank you.
Moving on.
Last loser for me.
Biggest loser.
Biggest loser for me.
I think, are we, you want to say it on 3?
Oh, no. You're not expecting this one. No.
Oh, no. Okay. All right.
You want to give a credit to the little Cowboys for their Halloween win against the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh,
God. You're going to give them all the credit where you're going to be like, Super Bowl, let's go. See you in February, bitches.
Okay.
Biggest loser of the week is the Jones family, Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones.
What?
Yes.
Okay, I'm curious.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
There's 2 big reasons why.
Okay.
1, trade deadline. Now, I'm always going to criticize the Cowboys for not making a move. And I'm not saying, and you would agree with me on this, we don't have to make a blockbuster trade that just like ripples around the NFL and says, "Oh my God, the Dallas Cowboys are now just going for it." I mean, they are just crazy. This is not a Herschel Walker type of deal, right?
Okay.
I'm asking for. There are holes in this defense still. There is some issues offensive line wise. Why not get a little better here? Why not get a little better here? And I've heard reports that they actually went out and tried to get Von Miller. Perfect.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
That
okay.
It was the
Surprising.
Cowboys and the Packers, I believe. I may be wrong on the second team, but without Jalen Smith, who knows what they're doing over there? You know. Oh, I should.
Jalen Smith got released?
Oh yeah, you didn't know?
Oh no, I knew.
Oh, sarcasm.
I know. It's almost as if we tried telling them. Okay, whatever.
Watch the film. Listen, I should have put Jalen Smith as my biggest loser. I didn't even think about that. I want to redo. I'm just kidding.
No redo.
Look, I'm not asking for the whole cake. I'm not asking for the whole pie. I want a piece of the pie here. Because you see Tampa Bay making moves. They're getting Richard Sherman. They're getting guys that...
Is that a move, though?
At least you're putting in the effort.
Though?
That's my thing. That's my problem with it.
Okay,
and
fine.
it's the way that the way that they... I guess the way that they phrase it when it comes to interviews on the radio, like Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones will go on there and they'll be like, now our phone is always open. Now it's 24/7, 365. We try to make this football team better every day, you know. So if anybody would like to make a call, we're all ears. You say that, Jerry. You say that, but today. Literally a few days after you say that, you say, now, we're not going to make the calls. We're going to wait for someone to call us. We're going to wait for the right deal because we think that's how we should do it on the trade deadline.
Mr. Jones? Mr. Jones?
Yes, Mr. Kyle.
Mr. Jones, what would you have to say to the fact that, maybe right now it would maybe be a good option to possibly look for a safety for the Cowboys? We both know that DeMonte Casey is, he's a little up and down. Why aren't you starting Donovan Wilson to begin with? And second of all, maybe the safety core needs a little bit of help. What do you say to that?
Sorry. Now safety is a very difficult position to play in the NFL. Yes.
Is it, Mr. Jones? Okay.
Now back in my day when I was much younger, I played a little bit of safety back in high school.
That's right, you did. Yes.
Now I thought I played very well, but it turns out that Arkansas didn't want a safety. Okay, so I had to switch positions. Now we think that Dante Wilson is a very good player. Kazi is great. He's been really good for us, and Jaron Hurst has been outstanding, and Dan Quinn will tell you that as well. What was the question?
Mr. Jones, are you implying that you could play safety better at this age than any of your safeties right now?
I'm not gonna say no.
But
I'm also not saying yes. This hip replacement surgery has been phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Anyways, so that's my
very good, man.
Thank you. I've been working on it.
Very good, man.
That's my problem with it is that you can't just go out and say, "Yeah, we're gonna try to make this team better. We're going for it," and then say, "We're not gonna make an effort though." Of like making calls, like people are gonna have to call us, and it's like, well, Jerry, that's not how it works. Like if you want to get a cheeseburger, you go get a cheeseburger.
You have to go to Whataburger and get that damn cheeseburger.
Whataburger ain't gonna call you and say, "Do you want a cheeseburger?" And you say, "Now that sounds real good," right? I'll take no onions, right?
Okay.
So if that report is true about Von Miller, awesome. But with the amount of pieces and the amount of draft picks that you have, you're a little bit spoiled as to what you can offer to different teams. Melvin Ingram was traded for a 6th-round draft pick. You're telling me that
you couldn't get that?
You telling me that for a pass rusher that is hungry to be a part of a contender again and get playing time like he wasn't getting in Pittsburgh, and you're getting him for a 6th-round pick, you wouldn't want to do that? When you need a pass rusher, because I know that Randy Gregory's great, but right now on the opposite side, you have Terrell Basham. That's not ideal for me. Micah Parsons can't always rush the passer on every single game. He has to play stand-up linebacker because Lane Vander Esch ain't cutting it, and Keanu Neal's not cutting it. And then if we're talking about a cornerback, I still don't feel safe about Anthony Brown being the second corner on this team. Adding a third guy, not being Jordan Lewis, would really help me right now to feel more confident in this team. And look at around the league with the Rams and the Bucks. They're saying we're winning now. There is no 5 years from now. There is no we'll see what the future holds. I know that your future is bright in Dallas. I know that you love Micah Parsons and you love Trevon Diggs. And for the next few years with Dak Prescott too, you're going to hold these guys down under their contracts and you're going to have some really nice individuals. But the problem with Jerry and with Steven is that they're thinking 5 years ahead. They're thinking about what this team can be in 5 years when they should think about what it is now. We want to consider this team as a Super Bowl contender. That's because it's now, not because it's a 5-year Super Bowl contender. This team can win. This team can contend against some of the best in the NFC because they already have contended against some of the best in the NFC. So why are we holding down draft picks and saying the future is bright in Dallas when I don't care what 5 years holds from now? If right now we win a championship and for the next 10 years we're bums, I'm okay with that. You think Philly's complaining? You think that Philly is like, oh, well, none of it matters because we weren't good for 5 years. We're only good for 1 year. You got a fucking championship. Yeah. I want a championship. We've never seen a championship. I have dealt with over 20 years of bad Cowboys football. I haven't felt this same feeling of how good the Cowboys are right now since 2016. That's 5 years. You told me they were going to be good in 5 years 5 years ago. Where are we now? Jerry!
Oh, Jerry.
Now, Bubba, now, you got to calm down here. No! I won't calm down here, Jerry.
Oh, Jerry.
I want a damn Lombardi trophy.
Oh, Jerry.
And you're not going to do that by holding down draft picks and waiting to see what happens in 5 years. Kellen Moore is not going to be here in 5 years. Dan Quinn's not going to be here in 5 years. You'll be damn lucky to be here in 5 years. That was kind of rude, sorry.
Kellen Moore might not even be here next year.
Kellen Moore is a beautiful man.
He is.
And that man's IQ is getting bigger and bigger every day.
Yeah.
That man's going to be a head coach someday. I don't know if that means with the Cowboys. If Mike McCarthy wants to step down and let Kellen Moore take over, that's fine with me. But I don't...
We'll see, man. We'll see.
There's no 5 years from now. There's no 5 years from now. It's got to be now.
Well, all right. Well, to end off this podcast, I'm just going to say 4 words for my last loser. The Titans are done. Have a good night, everybody. See you next week. No, stop. You better not say they're not. They are done. They are done. They're done.
They have Adrian Peterson.
Oh my word!
That man does not age. He's 30.
He's the next Frank Gore, right?
I thought they were. I thought that was a Spider-Man meme where they're just
like, yeah.
He's 36.
Look, dude. Look, they're done. I don't care what you tell me. Look, you can make the same argument, right, of what I made earlier that the Titans do have the weapons like the Browns do, right? No. There's a difference between Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, good running backs, good, solid franchise running backs, right? You just lost a god.
Yeah, it's not Derrick Henry.
You literally just lost a god, a human He's not a human being. He's a god that happens to be 6'4", 250 pounds, that can run at 22 miles an hour. Please, no, you're done. I don't care what you say. They're done.
What's going to be hilarious about the Tennessee Titans is that they're not changing anything. They're going to give him the ball 25 times a game.
Yeah.
And they're going to play action off of that.
And look, A.J. Brown, stud, right? Stud. He's not going to score 4 touchdowns a game like Derrick Henry can, apparently. I'm sorry. They're done. They're done. I really do not see them going to the playoffs anymore. I don't. I really don't. Their defense is still trash.
Well, hold on now.
Playing somewhat better, but still trash. A.J. Brown is not going to carry this team. He's not. He's a stud, but he's not going to carry this team.
You're forgetting, Kevin. They play in the AFC South. They beat the one team that could beat them.
They do play in the AFC South. That's right.
Carson Wentz is going to Carson Wentz.
Look. Here's the thing. I wasn't to put him as my loser, but I've already talked to him too much about him in my life. Anyway, look, we all know the Chargers are gonna win the AFC South, right? We all know they're gonna win the AFC South. There's
the Chargers?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I was so confused for a second.
I don't know why. I don't know why I thought about the Chargers for some whatever reason. Jesus Christ! You have a good point.
I just changed your mind. They're winners.
I don't know why. No. They're still done. To me, they're still done. Cause
they're done as a wild card. Like, I don't want to play them in the playoffs. Like,
cause look, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Carson Wentz is gonna Carson Wentz, right? We all know that, right?
yeah.
But as long as he is regular Carson Wentz for at least a quarter or two, they might win.
Dude, the Colts are actually a really good football team.
They're so good.
And then I go on Twitter and I see Carson Wentz do something. I'm like, God damn it. You did it again.
Look, right? Look, for all intents and purposes, right? For all intents and purposes, Carson Wentz is having actually a pretty good year.
Better year than Jalen Hurts. I said it first.
Yeah. I said that too. Anyway.
Move on.
Anyway.
No, you trashed Carson Wentz.
I did, but then I also said I don't know if Jalen Hurts can do a lot. He showed it.
You were more of a believer in Jalen Hurts than you were of Carson Wentz. I remember that.
Maybe.
No,
maybe
not a maybe.
Confused. Maybe I'm confused. Anyway, look, either way, as long as Carson Wentz cannot be Carson Wentz for 2 quarters, at least, they could win.
They were up 14-0 in 5 minutes in this game.
But it's really hard for your really good defense to stay fresh when Carson Wentz is doing that. He's doing that
at his own goal line.
Why? So look, all I'm saying is, look, Titans are done. Colts can win this division. But you know what? I forgot. You have a really good point. The AFC is a shit show anyway. So who knows? Maybe the Titans can't get in. I don't know.
You know what's awesome?
No, what's awesome?
You know what's awesome about having 7 teams in every conference?
I hate this format. I hate it so much.
They were talking about the NFC today, and they were like, all right, we got the Packers. Makes sense. Great team. Cardinals. Yep.
Yeah.
You got the Bucks.
Yeah.
You got the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Then you got the
Rams.
The Rams. And then you got the Saints. We'll see, but their defense is really good. They can, if they play against the Bucks again, easily can beat them.
Yeah.
Number 7, Carolina Panthers, baby.
Oh, God.
And you're like, what the fuck happened there?
Yeah.
What was that? And then they're talking about all these teams like, maybe the 49ers, maybe the Minnesota Vikings. I'm like, whoever is that 7th seed is going to get absolutely trashed on wild card weekend.
Yeah.
Who's the 7th team in the AFC right now?
Oh, the Jaguars.
Well, if you keep playing London games, they might make it.
Yeah.
Nah, that's too much to think about. I can't think about it right now. You put
No,
it
no,
on the
man.
spot.
Look. To end this podcast, right? Titans are done. They're done.
I think AP still's got a little bit left in the tank.
You think so?
I think he's gonna just like he did with Washington or with like Detroit. He'll have like one day where he goes off for like 200 yards.
Yeah.
It's just one game, and then the rest of the season he has like 200 yards in total.
Yeah.
That man doesn't age though. That man looks
Very surprising.
Looks surprisingly young, like
Yeah.
physically.
I know. Yeah.
Titans are done.
Titans are done.
Now you can't replace
Oh my god.
Derrick Henry. Now thank you everybody. I'm gonna end this podcast with Jerry Jones. Now thank you everybody for listening to the Bubba Lutz Sports Podcast. Go on the Facebook. I mean the YouTube.
Facebook. Meta, excuse you, Mr. Jones. It's Meta, by the way.
Mata. I think Amari Cooper would really like that.
Oh god.
Now, if you'd like to subscribe, that'd be great.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Follow the podcast on all
Oh yeah.
audio platforms, as Dante Williams or Dante Wilson would do,
Oh, okay.
and go to anchor.fm/Bubba Lutz to become a paid member of the podcast. Thank you so much for listening to episode 249. Kyle, thank you so much for coming back on the podcast.
Mr. Jones, my name's Kevin.
Good for you, son. Dak Prescott's a great quarterback. We'll see you next time.